Hello, everybody. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sarah Dean, and I am a third year Belmont Occupational Therapy doctoral student, and I have been conducting my capstone project at 50 Forward. I've been based at the Knowles location for the majority of my project, but I've been hopping between centers, so you may have seen me at your 50 Forward center before. But I am here just to share with you what I've been doing over the past 3 months as I've done my capstone at 50 Forward, what I found, and I really think this information will be valuable for you and for 50 Forward in general. So the title of my project is The Lived Experience of Older Adults Desiring to Age in Place. So just to start, this is my project overview. These are the goals that I had set for myself to conduct my project this semester. So the goals that I have are to understand the lived experience of older adults desiring to age in place. I wanted to build rapport with them and provide 50 Forward with valuable information directly from your participants. And I feel like this was something you guys didn't have prior, is actually hearing from the participants how they feel about aging in place. I also had the goal to research the importance of a safe home environment for older adults and to effectively and safely be able to age in place. I wanted to provide evidence-based solutions and also an OT perspective to provide home safety tips and aging in place tips. I also wanted to analyze data via coding and also disseminate those findings, which is what I'm doing right now, to 50 Forward's faculty and staff with the potential ideas for some future programs and classes that could be offered. Also, I wanted to enhance my professional communication and collaboration skills. I wanted to gain further knowledge regarding choosing the best evidence-based home safety checklists and gain extensive experience mentoring the research team. And so I'm happy to say that I've met these goals over the past 3 months. It's been a great experience. I've really enjoyed being at 50 Forward and getting to work with older adult participants, and it really has been such a joy for me. So next, I just want to talk a little bit about the needs. So I met with Gretchen Funk. She is my expert mentor. I've met with her throughout all of these 3 months I've been with 50 Forward, but I met with her about a year ago, and we just kind of, for the first time, and we just kind of talked through what she thought the needs at 50 Forward were, kind of what I was seeing too, and I developed my project around this. So the gap areas I identified were that there was limited information available from 50 Forward participants about their personal experience with and their perspective on aging in place. There was also limited resources available regarding home safety and aging in place specifically for the 50 Forward participants. There was also limited evidence-based home safety solutions for 50 Forward participants, and there was no occupational therapy perspective present in regard to aging in place in the Aging in Place program. So these were kind of the needs that I saw, kind of where my project stemmed from, so just to give you a little bit of background on that. Solutions to those needs and gap areas that I just talked about. So I decided that it would be a great idea to interview the 50 Forward participants to learn about their lived experience with aging in place, learn about the experience they've had with this personally, the barriers they've found, the things that are helping them age in place. And then I also think that by creating a resource guide, which I've passed out to all the centers that will be available for 54 participants to look at. This is to provide evidence-based home safety tips and resources that will hopefully help to facilitate their aging in place while also providing an occupational therapy perspective. And so I've passed those out, given those to you guys. Those are available for your participants that have evidence-based research tips and an OT perspective in them. So this is my project process. This is kind of what I've been doing over the past 3 months, kind of an overview of my project. So the first thing I did the first few weeks that I got started was I conducted research. I focused on researching the older adult population in general. I focused on researching aging in place, looking at home modifications, and just how OT fits into these aspects of an older adult individual's life. And so next I attended and I mentored second-year occupational therapy students while they're conducting a research project that I also extended with my capstone project. So I collaborated with these second-year students, and they conducted surveys at the 50 Forward locations. These surveys just contain basic information like demographic questions, how old are you, what's your financial situation like, things like that, so more basic information. And while I was helping them with those survey sessions, I had 54 participants sign up for a second interview session. And then after this was completed, I created an evidence-based set of interview questions. I had occupational therapists review this. I had other students review it. Gretchen reviewed these questions. Researchers reviewed it to create the most evidence-based and specific set of interview questions that I could have to target what I was trying to find from the 54 participants. And so then I conducted initial calls to invite these participants that had signed up for my interviews. I called them to remind them and just kind of let them know what they were getting themselves into. And then after that, I conducted these in-depth interviews. So you may have seen me at your 54 location hosting little groups with 54 participants, and this is what I was doing, was just talking about their experience with aging in place, the barriers they found, things that have helped them, resources they've used or wish they could use. And so then after I completed those interviews, I analyzed and coded this data. So I went through all the responses, looked at it, and created themes and codes based on that. And then I created a resource guide. I made this presentation, and then I also am disseminating my findings to Belmont's faculty and staff via a poster from the data that I've collected. So this is just kind of to go through the analyzation of the data. This is how I coded it. And so I have a link here to the coding document if anybody is interested in looking at those specific codes. But basically what I did is I got the responses, and then I went through and created major themes that I was seeing at different centers that kind of they had in common. And so the code titles I created were Attend 50 Forward, Barrier, Beneficial Strategy, Facilitator, Feel Safe, Feel Unsafe, Reason, Safety Resource, Socialization Barrier, Socialization Level, and Support System. And then each code title, so I consider these the major themes that I found, have subcategories of more specific things. So for example, support system, and then the subtitle might be family or friends or neighbor. So something like that. And again, if you would like to see that, I have the link to the document here, and I can also send that to Gretchen to send out to all of you as well. So this is that information. This is kind of how I coded the data, how I got these results that I've gotten. So now we're going to jump into the results. So I determined this information simply based on the interviews that I had with your 54 participants and the analyzation of the data that I did. And so I had a total of 31 participants across 4 different centers, and I have that listed here. At Bordeaux, I had 19 participants. Knowles, I had 3, Turner, I had 4, and Madison, I had 5. Now, my goal was to have maybe 10 to 15 people come and talk with me, and I got double that. And so this is a great number. This is way more than what I was looking for. And so now I just want to kind of jump into the results. I'm a very visual learner, and so I have some pie charts that I want to show you guys. I think it's just a great representation of the results, and it's easier to kind of see it when it's in a graph form. So the first results and findings that I found are the reasons why people attend 50 Forward. And I just think this is such a sweet graph of information for you guys to see, because everything that all of you are doing really is making a difference. And so just to kind of go through this, these are reasons why people told me they come to 50 Forward and why they appreciate the programs and the services that you guys are providing. They feel like they can choose what they want to participate in. They have a choice. They come for the people, their friends. It's something for them to look forward to. It's a way for them to get out of the house. It keeps their mind sharp. It helped them to try new things, do new things that maybe they wanted to try. They enjoy the field trips, getting out into the community. I had one or 2 people tell me that it was a lifesaver when their spouse passed away. Someone told me it was their home away from home. It helps them to stay active in a safe environment. They learn about what's going on in the community surrounding them. They're able to learn new skills. It helps them to stay active and exercise, and they really enjoy the various activities. And so this information, I think, is just so special to hear from people that you're serving exactly why they're coming to 50 Forward. And this is why 54 participants desire to age in place. So I asked them, I said, why do you want to stay in your home? Why do you want to age in place? And so this is what I learned. And so 16% of people said that they don't want to have to live with their children. And then 20% said that they are just comfortable being where they are. I think those were probably two of the most common answers that I heard. Also, they have memories attached to their home, so they don't want to leave their home. They want to stay in their home because they have experiences and memories there. And then they also want to be in control of their life. They want to stay independent. They don't have anyone telling them what to do, which is totally relatable. You know, when you're at your house, it's just you. You have your choice. They enjoy the privacy. They don't want to feel like a burden to other people. They are not getting to eat what they want if they're not at their house. And they just don't want to live anywhere else. So next I asked them, I said, what are some barriers that you have experienced with the ability to age in place? So what are some things that have kept you from being able to stay in your home safely? And so I got responses like finances. They need help with certain activities. They have steps to enter into the home that is coming from outside into the front door. They have health conditions that make it difficult for them. They have difficulty carrying items into their home. They have decreased independence with housekeeping chores. Accessibility is difficult. They have throw rugs that they don't want to get rid of. They have a fear of falling. They feel like they are alone. They have a far walk from the parking lot to their building. They have stairs in the home, so they live in a 2-story house, or they have stairs in their apartment building they have to climb. They have clutter, and they just don't have the resources to remove that clutter. And then insurance. Okay, and this is strategies that 54 participants think would be beneficial to age in place safely. So these are not necessarily things that people are using currently. These are simply resources and safety ideas that they wish that they could implement. So things that they're not currently using, but they would like to implement. So I got answers like having a pet, hiring a professional organizer / declutterer, having assistants making a will, having a bedside commode in their bedroom, installing a doorbell with a camera, having a life alert, using an Apple Watch, having information on Section 8 housing, installing a walk-in shower rather than a tub shower, installing a chairlift on their stairs so they can safely get up the stairs, having grab bars in the bathroom, having an alarm system, 50 Forward programs, 50 Forward care management program, finances, and then a home safety course, as well as continuing to socialize with people in the community. Okay, this is facilitators that have allowed 54 participants to age in place. So these are things that people are currently doing that are helping them to stay in their home safely. So I got responses such as staying active, attending 50 Forward, using the 50 Forward care management program, finances, having a financial manager, taking home safety classes, socialization, having a pet, taking safety courses, renovating their home to make it safer, and staying active. So you can see that compared to the last slide, things that people wish that they were using to things people are using, there's a lot of similar responses. It really just depended on who I was talking to, and that determined, what they were using and what they wish they were using. So that's why those are kind of similar. So I asked them, I said, what makes you feel safe in your home? What about your home makes you feel safe? And so I got things like having a 1-level home. They don't have any steps to enter their home. Some people used a hospital bed to sleep in because it's easier to get in and out of. Living in a senior living center or tower, such as Tribeca Towers. Having a smaller home rather than a larger home. This is less to manage for them. Having an HOA that takes care of the exterior. Having a security system, not having any clutter, having a walk-in shower, having grab bars, having a rolling cart to carry items into their home, living on the first floor of a condo building. And so you can see these are great things that people are doing that make them feel safe in their house. So I also asked them, on top of feeling safe, I said, what makes you feel unsafe in your home? And so I got answers like they feel lonely. They're by themselves a lot of the time, and so that makes them feel unsafe. They have suction cup grab bars that tend to come off of their bathroom walls. They have a toilet that is too low to sit down on and it's hard to get off of. They have a tub shower rather than a walk-in shower, so they're having to step over that little lip to get into their shower, and that increases their fear for falling. Having a bathroom that's inaccessible, having steps to enter the home, having clutter, not having any grab bars at all in the bathroom. They're desiring to move too quickly, so they tend to want to get things done fast, and that increases their risk for falling. Getting in and out of furniture, such as a chair or a sofa, and also getting in and out of the bathtub. So this is my last pie graph that I have for you, and these are safety resources that 54 participants currently use in order to feel more safe in their home. And so these are things that people are currently using right now that they would recommend to other people to safely be able to stay in their house. And so this includes having a life alert, using a doorbell with a camera, having motion and sensored lights in their house and outside of their house, having a security system, having a flood plan and a tornado plan, taking a kitchen safety class, having a grease sensor on the stove, using a cell phone, watching the news and TV, taking a self-defense class, and a life alert. And so, like I mentioned earlier with the first pie graph, I just thought it was so sweet, all of the reasons why 54 participants attend 54word. And so I made it this word cloud that has things such as like exercise, and it's a lifesaver, and for the people, just to remind you guys that what you're doing really is making a difference. And so I think seeing this in a visual way is just really special and really important. Okay, so the outcomes of my project. So after I conducted the interviews, analyzed the data, and got all those results I just showed you, I created outcomes or deliverables. This is Belmont's term for basically something tangible that I've created or presented to complete my project. And so, like I said earlier, I created those interview questions to discuss the lived experience of aging in place with 54 participants. This is a research, evidence-based set of interview questions that was looked over and edited by many, many professionals. And so I think that those interview questions are very valuable. I also created a resource guide that contains home safety tips and also resources in Middle Tennessee that will hopefully facilitate safer aging in place for the older adults. And these are resources that I've researched in depth, things that people in the Middle Tennessee area have recommended for the older adult population. And so this resource guide will be really helpful for participants. And so, like I said, I've dropped all those off. They should be at your centers. They're in a bright yellow folder, so you can't miss them. And it says resource guide on the front. So definitely direct your participants to that information. I also created the organized list of codes that I determined from the interview sessions. And this information is just valuable to have in an organized way. I created this presentation that you're watching now to disseminate my findings. And then I also have created topic suggestions for future programs and capstone projects for 54word to hopefully use in the future. And then here's that link to the resource guide that I mentioned earlier. So if Gretchen sends this PowerPoint out to everyone in this video, you'll be able to see that in a virtual version as well. Like I said, it is printed out in yellow folders at your centers, but just in case you want a virtual copy on your computer, this is that for you guys. So just the importance of my project, the reason why this was important. I gained valuable information directly from your participants. And I feel like that's more valuable than anything else that I've been able to receive, is just hearing from them. Learning about their experience with aging in place has taught me so much about not only talking with and having conversations with the older adult population, but what they're experiencing, what they're going through, and how me as a future occupational therapist is going to be able to help with that in the future. And then I also created that evidence-based resource guide. This is research-based, and so it's so important to have those resources and safety tips available for these participants so they have a place to go to when they have questions about how to keep their home safe, how to age in place safely. Thirdly, I created this information in the resource guide. It offers an occupational therapy point of view on home safety and aging in place, which was not something that was currently available at 54word. And so now you have this guide that is completely occupational therapy based from an OT perspective, and I feel like that's very valuable. And then lastly, I just have data to support future programming and potential future capstone projects if you guys desire to implement any of these. And so you have this presentation, you have the coding that I did that can back up why you need these programs, why you need these classes offered if you don't have them offered already. So bear with me a little bit longer. This, I think, is the most exciting part. And so from my conversations with your participants and collaborating with Gretchen and my faculty mentor, Dr. Teresa Plummer, I have created a list of potential future programs that 54word could implement, as well as these could be capstone projects for future occupational therapy students who come to 54word, or social work students, or whoever. And so this is kind of a list that I've collaborated on and created based on what your participants have told me. So having a telehealth room at 54word, so they have assistants getting on their online appointments. Telehealth has become so much more popular lately since COVID-19. And so I think having this resource at 54 would be so beneficial to them. Having a class that's a how to use technology. This could be for cell phones, security systems, anything, the Ring doorbell with the camera, anything like that. Just having a class teaching them how to use those things so they don't feel so in the dark about how to use that technology. Having a class on bathroom safety, and you can have an OT teach this. If you created an occupational therapy position at 50 Forward, this would be a great class for them to teach. Having a class on financial management. Having a self-management class that is focused on chronic disease management. So a lot of your participants mentioned to me that their health conditions are what's keeping them from staying safe in their home. And so a lot of them mentioned they had heart problems or diabetes or arthritis, and these diseases are chronic and progressive. And so having a class that very basic information helps them how to manage those diseases and those illnesses themselves, I think would be really beneficial. Having a class on kitchen safety, a class on home safety, and then just a class that goes over the resource guide that I've given to your locations. Just having a class going through that, showing them how to use it, what information is in it, I think will be really beneficial. Thank you guys so much for having me at 50 Forward from January to April of this year, 2023. It really has been such a blessing and a joy to work with all of you, the faculty and staff at 50 Forward, and just with the participants at 50 Forward as well. It's been so wonderful getting to learn this information. I hope you find this valuable. Please feel free to reach out to me personally. You can get my contact information from Gretchen Funk. I'd be happy to talk with you further if you have any questions. Again, I'm just so thankful for the opportunity, and I hope you guys find this information valuable and that you're able to use it in the future. Thank you so much. Have a great day.